Okay, 2 minutes before the open. It's Friday, 8:28 Central Time. I'm gonna step away and I'll be right back here in just a minute. All right, let me put this to regular trading hours. Okay, let's see what we do here on the open. All right, pretty big opening move there. Coming up to getting close to the overnight high, which is right here. Pretty big thrust up there from 80 to 90 in just over a minute. Well, we're bullish. Just pushing it higher. Pardon me for just a moment here. let's get back to the ES here. Oops. My screens are a little bit frozen. I might have to restart them. My screens are kind of stuck here. Oh, come on. Yep, I'm gonna have to restart, I believe. Oh, there we go. Okay. They weren't stuck. There was just something that I wasn't clicking on. Alright, just pushing away. Just a bit of a gap higher here. Not that much though, so it makes me think that that the bulls might just run it. I went ahead and sold a 405 put on SPY. $405 would be the equivalent of being right down here. It expires today. So again, that's something where the market feels strong. I mean, looking here, let's look at the daily. So here's the daily. We've come down. We're definitely in our like downward channel here, but we're showing overall strength. So let's see here. So we're doing our thing here. If we do get a pullback, I'll probably look to get long again. But sometimes once the train leaves the station, it's hard to catch it. So just gotta be patient. Gotta sit tight and wait. So I had mentioned I sold the 405 put in SPY. If we do come down and get lower, I'll look to sell more of that one. So today looks, even though it's not a big gap, looks like just a gap and go. Like we're gapping higher. 15-minute is just up. Looks like we're just gonna push off and keep going. So I'll make a note here. Oh, mic level. Hopefully that's a little better. What are we looking for? Well, I sold the puts in SPY. I'm looking to do shorter term trades in the S&P 500. I'm bullish for today. I mean, we're gapping up and just going, and then looking at the context of the overall market. So this is one where, like, if we come down in here, I'll look to pick some up and try to get long if we do fill the gap. But I've got a good amount of wiggle room selling those puts on SPY at 405. So that's where I'm sitting with that. I'm not looking to get short here unless I see something. Like, I wouldn't get short at this level. We'd have to go up quite a bit more. And then I would look for like an exhaustion move, kind of a retrace, and then maybe a test and then a fail. But that wouldn't be until about another 30 points higher. And so some people might say, well, shoot, why don't you just buy it here? And we go 30 points higher. And maybe we do, maybe we don't. It's hard to say. But the trend is definitely up. It's been up the last few days. Really broke out to the upside yesterday. Just the style of trading that I do, I'm just not good at, nor do I want to just buy right off the open, because it can come up and then give you a head fake and crush you, come back in. So I really don't have any trades set up that I'm looking for just yet, other than to potentially get long if we get a bit of a pullback. If we come back in here, I might look to sell more SPY puts with the 405 strike price expiring today. It's a nice option to have when you feel like you've got a general sense of the overall direction of the market, what it's trying to do, and it gives you some wiggle room. Then we had news. We had like GDP at 7:30. I gotta go get my other computer, my laptop. I'll be right back. Well, actually, I'm gonna hang tight and see what kind of action we get around here. Pull up the overnight session here. So here's our overnight session. Oops. Again, it's not to say we can't pull back. We may, but this is the 15-minute chart. Shaded areas overnight. So just came down. Here's the overnight low right here. Kind of a rounded bottom. Came up. Here was the news that GDP number, whatever it was, tested and then just broke higher. Here's the 5-minute on this side over here. So seems like, you never know for certain, but it seems like we'll either resume, keep pushing higher, or hang out, somewhere in here for the day. Seems like. But we've got to know that anything can happen and something will happen. Yep, I'll be right back. All right, we've got consumer sentiment at. Wonder if I shouldn't try buying a little bit right here. Consumer sentiment here in another 13 minutes. I'm gonna buy a little bit right here. See if we just continue to push forward. I'm not going to hold against this low, like I might consider adding if we get down in here, but I'm in just 20%. So let's see, target higher, gonna be 17. Yeah, first target will be 41.17. I'll take off half there if we get there. And then next target, maybe I just let it run for the day, or it might be somewhere around like 27 or 25, something like that. So again, here's what we're looking at on the daily. Here's our chart on the daily. Looks, so far, I mean, we're only 40, or no, not even 40, we're like 20 minutes into the day. Looks like gap and then go. Got our wicks here, testing, and then pushing up here. So let's just see if we continue up higher. I'm gonna pan out a little bit. So, all right. So those puts I sold, the 405 puts on SPY, those are doing well. Those are already half. I sold those at 55 a piece. They're trading right now at 25 a piece. So the value of those has been cut in half, which that's ideal, right? Here's our 5-minute and 15-minute, just up and up, just moving up. A little bit of a stall here. We'll see if we can't just continue the trend up higher. But the question really becomes, like, how high? So the nice thing with selling those puts in SPY is that I've got time on my side. So at this point, those that I sold, they there's a time value and they expire today. So even if we hang out here and don't do anything, or if we come down here, even if we push here and then recover or just hang out lower, I just need them to stay above 40.50 on this chart. It's the equivalent of 405 on SPY. So let's see if that's a tight little pullback or if we continue to just kind of resume down. Trend is strong enough, might be a pullback. We're 9 minutes away from consumer sentiment coming out. I was gonna pull up something else, but can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, let's see here. Consumer sentiment. Or no, it wasn't. Let's see. Personal income and outlays was earlier this morning. So at least at this point, this chart, I watched this for nuance. We're following the bigger picture here, just watching the 15-minute. Oh, I was gonna pull up the hour chart, going back to see if there's any critical levels up above here. So let's do that. So our 15 minutes up, our minute is up. All right, so let's make this into this. Let's see what we get here. So here we are above that. Yeah, I think 17 is a good target to have. Kind of puts us to right here. And then as far as next levels, next areas. It's hard. I need to work on holding longer. 12, there we go. 13, I might scale out of a quarter right here. Not yet, give it a minute. Let's see, we'll come back to that guy. Oops. Let's see if we, there we go. I'm going to scale a quarter right here. All right. I'll look to see if we get up to 17 a little bit higher to scale the other little bit. All right, so let's put this here. Here's our hour chart. Hour just strong, up and away. Got to pay yourself a little bit, right? And we're 5 minutes away from that news too. I don't think it's gonna push the market down. It's not supposed to be a big market moving generated information, but you just never know. All right, there we go. I'm gonna sell the other quarter right there. All right, so took a little bit off the table. Here, let me pull up the correct screen here. Pardon me for that. All right, let's get back here. This was a nice entry. Saw this curl, bought a little bit here, and thought if we got a little bit lower, I'd try to add some down there. We didn't. I'm out of half of it here at 17. My first target was 17. I did chicken out a little bit at 13. Took off a quarter here, took off the other quarter here, and we'll see if we can get up a bit higher. Next target's going to be, call it 25 or 27. Let's see. I think next target we'll look for like 27. All right, those puts we sold in SPY, those are looking nice. They're valued at 20 now, so they were at 55 when I sold them about 20 minutes ago. Now they're at 20. No reason to fade this market. No reason at all. All right, well, that's helpful. I tell you, it's nice. There's some days where you're reading the market well, others where you're not. I realized lately that I've been in and out a little bit too much, at least for my style. So I thought, it'd be good to slow it down, find something that I like, not be in a hurry. Earlier in the week, I think like Monday, Tuesday, I was a bit in a hurry to play some trades and had some good locations and good scale outs, but for me, it was just a little bit of over trading. Then when you over trade, at least for me, if I'm trading too much, sometimes I can kind of get spun around in the wash. I can start seeing things or paying attention to levels that really aren't all that important. All right, so we've got another 2 minutes until our news comes out. I don't know why it keeps getting smaller. Here's the 5 minute and the overnight. Looks like 17 was a decent place to scale. I don't think they'll sell off here, but it looks like some other people were thinking the same thing, that, all right, I'm gonna get out at 17, and we're close enough to this announcement coming out. So we'll see if we pull back or anything like that. I'm still in half my position. If we get this low, I don't know. We'll have to watch what it does, but that's quite a ways lower. I don't know if I'll get out of that little bit right there or if I'll add a bit. We'll just watch market tempo. Now at that area, so the 1 minute for me, it's important when I'm looking for context at certain areas. So it's pretty seldom that I just have a resting order in. If there's an area where I like or where I want to do business at, I'm usually going to let it come to that area, watch what the market does using the 1 minute chart, and then make a decision from there. Nice. All right. There's our first little bit of a wick right there. All right, so the news is out, or at least it should be. Sometimes they're late on getting the announcement out. So let's see if we stall and sell off a little bit here and then resume, or if this is just a pause that the bulls are taking and then we keep moving higher. We'll see. Oh, no problem, Issa. So you left half the trade still running. Yeah, that's right. I got long right here, and when I got long here, was looks like about 847. So I bought here, and then said that 17 was my first target. I chickened out a little bit, got out at 13 of a quarter of it, and then I did get out at 17 with the other quarter. So I'm still in half of this thing, seeing if we just run and push up higher. If we get above this level, that'd be good news, just like continuation. Looks like we might here. If we pop up here, it should start just crushing the value of those 405 puts that I sold. So let's see. Let's see if we push up higher here. Let's see if we can do it here. Getting close. Come on, bulls, push it up. Tempted to take off another quarter here, then just leave the last little bit on. Let's see if we can pop it here. What we got? All right. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we just resume. All right, I'm gonna take off another quarter right there. And maybe I rushed it. Getting out of it, maybe that's just the head fake and we keep pushing higher, but all right, so I'm just in 1/4 of that final position, I think on this one, I'll just hold it against break even. We'll run it, give it the rest of the day, see if it continues to just move higher. Feels like it will. All right. So yeah, they got me a little spooked right there. Really no need. All right, that's no need to be spooked, because here's our 15-minute, here's our 5-minute. Although 17, again, that's a decent area if you do want to scale out. We did see that little pullback there. So 5-minute, 15-minute. I don't know, maybe we come back, a little bit of retracement. I'd like to see it break above there though. And again, it's either time to retrace a little bit and then move higher, or maybe we're just pausing right here and then we push up a bit more. So I'll show you. Here is, in this one, these are the puts in SPY that I sold. So these, sold them up here, and then don't think I'll have to buy them back. I would imagine that even if we hang out where we're at, or go higher, these things, because there's only time value left to them, they should eventually just get way down, end the day down here, and then just expire worthless. So that's what I'm thinking. Again, anything can happen. Something will happen, but I feel like the odds are in my favor on that one. All right, let's see if we push higher here. All right, another minute till we get a new 5-minute bar. Yeah, Isa. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. I don't know if it's Isa. Yeah, that news, consumer sentiment, it wasn't supposed to be like a big market mover. The ones that have potential to move the market, for me, they've got like a red dot by them. The ones that are like moderate have a green dot. So that's consumer sentiment out at 9 a.m. that came out 10 minutes ago. It had a green dot. Um, it looks like the news that came out at 7:30, the market like that. And truthfully, like I could care less what the news says. There's a great book I'm reading. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow, and it talks about the biases that we have, like our intuitive biases that we're unaware of. It was written by the Nobel Prize winner of economics. What's his? I can't remember his name. Super brilliant guy, but he gave an instance in there how, looking at news one morning, I think it was right before Desert Storm, so it was maybe in like 91 or 92. Bonds reacted a certain way, so there's a headline that comes out right like that morning. But then later in the day, or maybe it was the next morning's paper, because there wasn't the internet back then. Um, Bonds had totally reversed, like totally done the opposite, and so there's a different headline that morning explaining why bonds did what they did. And so he just talks about the desire for people, how we have this innate desire to put cause and effect to almost everything in our lives. And how, don't get me wrong, there is cause and effect. Like you do something, there's going to be an outcome. But he says just that we apply that too much sometimes. He says that there's like more randomness that we would think of. Another example he gives, which I thought was fascinating, and again, this dude and his partner, like they were super numbers guys. Like that's all they did was numbers. Let's see, I'm gonna try to buy a little bit more back right here. Oops. Okay, there we go. So getting in. So again, I'm just into half of my position. So I scaled out and had whatchamacallit. I got out of a quarter here, another quarter here, and then here as we did this, I lightened up a little bit. When I said that I was going to do half here and then try to do the other half up at 27. So I just got back in, probably hold it, try to the rest of the day against this. Excuse me, it's still a winner in my book. It keeps chugging along, so we'll let it go, let it ride. At this point, it's just a free trade. Anyways, this guy in the book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he talks about basketball players and how, we can tend to think like, oh, he's hot, like he's really feeling it right now. And he says, statistically speaking, and I'm no statistician, I haven't looked into it, but he says, statistically speaking, it's extremely rare, or I think he might even say that it doesn't happen where someone gets hot. He says if you look at the number of shots that are taken, like in basketball, and how many they miss or make, he said it's not without the realm of probabilities that it would appear that they're getting hot, but he says every now and then you're just going to have a streak where you make more in a row. I thought, boy, that's interesting. But he said, you tell a coach that, or you try to make a case for that, and he says you usually get some flack or blowback. Yeah, just thought that was interesting. All right, got another, what do we got here? Another minute and a half left on the 5 minute. So on the 1 minute, I saw us trying to push a little bit higher and thought I'd put back on a little bit more of that original position to stick with half of the position that I took down here, getting long. So we'll see what it does here. Might get a little bit more of a pullback until we continue higher. Might not. Again, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And something will happen. So as long as we keep that in mind, we're good to go. We're good to go. I feel like I do that a little bit too much. Like get in and get out, or get shaken out of trades when I've got a good target in mind, a target that I like. So even here, getting long at 4,100, my goal was 17, but I took off a quarter at 13. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of this somewhere. But in my head, I rationalized and thought, well, we're close enough, so I better just lock in some profit and get out of this thing. Thinking that we'll go right here. There we go. Let's see if we just continue to push higher. I guess in my mind, I'm always, there are moments where we're just trudging along doing our thing, and then wham, like it seems like out of nowhere, the market just gets sold off, slams down. And so in my head, there's always, I guess it's always like gnawing at the back of my brain, like, hey man, we could push lower, we could just sell off, we could slam this thing. But if I've got stops in place, then I shouldn't worry about that, which I do. So we'll just let it be. See if we push up now. There we go. All right. So if we get up to 27, I'll take off a quarter right there. Gonna try to, again, I get impatient on these, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just get impatient. So let's see what our volume does. See if we can get volume in to push it higher. Man, I don't like that wick. Making me sweat a little bit. Making me sweat. Making me sweat. Trying to wait and see how this 5-minute bar closes. It's funny in trading too, like sometimes a minute can seem like so freaking long, Oh man, it's like a time warp. Thought it was a time warp being with your kids, like in the middle of the day when they're off school on a snow day and you had work to do. You thought that was a time warp. Let me introduce to you trading. Oh man. All right, 5-minute little wick there. Not completed yet though. We got another minute and a half to go on the 5-minute. So ideally, I want this 5-minute to end strong. That's the ideal setup. I want this 5-minute bar to stay above this, call it 17, finish somewhat strong, and then just continue to like plot higher. Wouldn't be opposed to a little burst, right? Run them up to 41.50, another 30 points higher. That'd be cool. Probably not going to get that though. Anything can happen. And something will happen, but probably not that. Who else is watching? We got record attendance today, boys and girls. We got 3 people watching. If you're watching and you're by your computer, let me know. Let me know what you're seeing. What do you see? What do you think? What am I not seeing? Where are you like, Jeff, you're freaking blind, man. Open your eyes. I think the market's going to do this. Oh, it's hard for me to hang in there. It is pushing higher, though. All right, so here's our 5 minute. Here's 5 minute. Here's 15 minute right here. Here's 15. Let's see if we take out that 21. Getting closer to 27 there. This is good discipline for me. But time warp, right? Time warp. So it's just like drifting higher up into the great beyond. But this is hard for me to hold on to. So yeah, these are where it's hardest for me, where we're just like slowly moving up, because in the back of my head, and it doesn't happen often, it's quite rare that the market just gets slammed on its butt. All right, I'm going to sell a little bit right here. That quarter that I added, I'm going to get out of it here. I just don't have the patience for this thing. All right. So, not bad, not great. Tried holding those 27. I just couldn't do it. I'm sure we'll get there. There we go. 23. Yeah, we'll get to 27. We will get there. So, probably watching this minute a little too closely. This is really the chart that I need to be watching right here. The 5 minute. Oops, not that. Here we go. Let's see if we get 27. So, that bid I have on, my last quarter, I've got it. Stop loss is just right here at 41. So that's where I got into it at. If it comes down here, whatevs, like I'll just check on this thing later in the day, seeing if it runs and if it goes up higher. 24. Yeah, that's weak, dude. That's weak that I got out of that thing. 25 here, let's see 27. All right, those 405 puts too, I'm about to flatten those and get out of them. Got a limit in. Let's see if we tick down just a little bit more. Oh, all right, that was it. So I'm flat on those, bought them back at 13, sold them at 55. That worked out well. Really, like, very, very improbable. on that one, that those don't expire worthless. But on that, I only had, like, per contract, I only had 13 more bucks to make. And my risk on there is unlimited. So if something crazy happened or news came out or whatever, and we came down and flush below that, I'd be holding the bag with my hand, needing to pony up at that price. So on that one, it's saw an 80% decline in value in about an hour, just under an hour, about 45 minutes. So I'm pleased with that move. Still got that runner on here at 4,100. We'll let it be. Certainly the price would be here, but I'm not going to jack with that too much. I'll just leave it here at break even. It seems like we'll just continue to float, but man, you just never know what could happen in the day. Could get some movement that we're not foreseeing, but that's going to be it. Let's move this guy. All right, that feels good to be out of 3/4 of it, booked in profits, leaving the runner on, seeing what happens, just letting it be. And I'll show you here's the chart on the SPY puts. Well, let's see. Tell you what, I'm trying to move something over. There we go. Bear with me. Let me shrink that down just a little bit. Okay. There we go. So here's the chart. This is the 1 minute on the E-mini, right? ES or MES. 1 minute chart. Here's our open. came up just strong again, taking into consideration context and what we've done, where we've come from. So as it curled here, I didn't know yet if we're going to pull back more or not, but this is a really good place to sell those puts on SPY. And you can see, let's see the time frame here. This is like at 8:45. At 8:45, it was hanging out here. Actually, I was able to sell those at 55. Whoops. Let's see. So I sold them, right here. Sold them at 55, and then as the markets, so even though the market hasn't skyrocketed up and gone parabolic, it has just kind of drifted up. So this one, we saw a big crush in their value once it kind of broke out here to the upside, and then just went down, and then covered the last little bit of it down here, or took off everything right here. I didn't scale out of this one, thinking that I only had $12 more per contract to gain, as opposed to it. Again, anything can happen. So at that point, you sell it at 55, you buy it back at 12, you're good. You had an 80% decline in value within about 45 minutes. You call it a day. And again, that was done because of the context of today. Looking at the daily chart here. So it was indeed a gap and go. So gapped, we never came down and filled it. We just kind of hung out, and then it's just been up and up. So the question is, how far does this thing go? And that's anyone's guess. Maybe we get up to, I don't know. Don't want to make any predictions as far as how high we go, because we could end the day lower. So it's hard to say. But probabilities are that we, statistically, we should just kind of hang out up here, push higher to some degree. So we'll leave on that last little piece, that quarter of the position, let it run, see if it gives us more, and that's going to be it. I'm reading this book, this other book, with winning in mind, and the guy says too, he's like, man, oftentimes your best trades are just like, they're just easy. They're the easier ones, and it's true. It is true. Let's look at the 15 minute. So again, here's our 15 minute, just up and up. No need to fight that, at least not yet. Now there might be a point where it might be, I'm sure at some point next week, there'll be some great entries for shorts to get short, but not going to be getting short today. Again, I wouldn't get short unless I saw like a big dip down and then a retrace. You look to get short, somewhere in here, and then watch it go down. But usually something like that. News has to come out of some sort, or Elon Musk says something, or we enter a new war, or something like that. That's probably going to do it for me. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm curious to know who's watching out there. Anyone out there? Anything closing over 1420 is, or 4120 is good. I guess so. Issa, you said you're new. What market do you like to watch? How long you've been involved? Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'd like to know. All right, so trade of the day. All right. So I mentioned 4127. First target was 17, and then I mentioned 4127. It's interesting how we came up to 26, so I was pretty close. And then peeled some back there. Look at some other market stuff. Well, I've got some Starbucks puts that I sold too. So Starbucks should be doing pretty good, and FedEx as well. Just tempted to add to FedEx. All right, let's see here. So there was some talk with Starbucks as far as unionizing, and then their stock just got beat up because of stuff with COVID, like their policies on where people coming in without shots and all that. So their stock, let me drag theirs into play here, or into the screen. Their stock's just been crushed. So this is one I've recently, well, not recently, probably like the last month and a half, no, last month, been selling some puts in. So here's them. Pretty nice here. I've got some puts down at 70, 65. Got one here at 81. Got a few puts in that one that I've sold. I'll probably add some more today. See how far out we want to go. I'm going to sell the 75s for, let's see. I'm just going to do one more of these. So I've got a 75 strike put out 21 days. Let's see if we can see the volume here. This is it right here. Good amount of volume. You want to check that. Or, I'm sorry, good amount of open interest. Volume is like meh, but it'll increase as time goes on. So we'll sell that one right there. Try to get $1.82 for it. So 182 bucks. We'll confirm and send. All right, so that one was filled. Oh, you can see it there. Yeah, I got a 60, a 68.5, a 75, a 70, another 75, and then an 81. The 81's doing all right though. It expires today. I could roll it out today, or like see if it pushes higher and then try to do something with it next week if the S&P remains strong. Create rolling order. see back here. Okay. I'm very fresh to all investing, trading, about 7 months in, slowly learning, watching YouTube and reading stuff. Cool. Mostly I follow S&P 500 and local Finnish stocks. Oh, you're from Finland. Cool. Got a buddy whose brother's over there, and he's telling me how his brother's into ice baths. I'm into ice baths too, Wim Hof. Well, great, man. Glad to have you. A fantastic book, probably one of the best I've ever read, is called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It deals with the psychological aspect of trading. Just fantastic. I'm reading a really good one right now, and it applies to anything like performance related. That one that I referenced earlier, it's called With Winning in Mind. Great book. Trying to think who else. Oh, there's a guy on YouTube. He's really good. Now he does a lot of what's called market profile stuff. So he'll have charts up, and then it'll show like a volume distribution curve. It's his on the left. It looks something like, here, let me pull up. It looks like this, but he's got it on the left over here. So it'll show you where volume has been distributed. So not only are you seeing price, but you're seeing like where there's high nodes of volume. That's called the point of control. Like, so this right here, I think this is where the most volume is taking place. This is called the point of control. Now this is on the 15-minute chart over the last 10 days. His name is, if you go on YouTube, his name is The Pirate Trader. So yeah, Charles, he's really good. He doesn't mention though, like every now and then he might say like, hey, I'm trading here, or I'm thinking about this, but it's really good. I like it. I really like it a lot because he's very objective. And I think like, I mean, I've heard him mention, and it's usually only after the fact that he'll mention a trade. So it's cool because if you watch him, like you're not getting his bias. Because man, for every seller there has to be a buyer. So just how I had an assumption that the market was going to go up today, I was able to buy it because someone else needed to get out of their position or had the assumption that it was going to go down. So I like the pirate trader guy, Charles, because of that. He's just very objective. And there's a lot of good stuff with market profile and all that. So it's interesting for sure. Let me get rid of that guy. So again, you can see with, I'll move this, the SPY 405 puts into the screen. I got out of these at 13. So even though we've sold off in the market, we're coming down, those haven't lost much value only because all that's left to them is time. So like we could, now if we come like down in here, maybe they pop up to 20 or 21. But yeah, those will be interesting. So if I were still in front of the screen and we came down and then started to kind of reverse again, I might look at selling some of those again, but more than likely I won't. I'll just let it be. Cool. Yeah, truthfully, I wish I could find someone on YouTube who, there's another guy, he does real short-term time frame stuff. It's called like The Pit, and he's watching order flow and but man, with that, just the style of trading that I do, I just feel like I've got to have like a lightning fast trigger finger to click the mouse, where my style is a little bit more, typically it should be, I've got ahead of myself a little bit earlier in the week this week, as far as trading a bit too often, but I wish there was someone who was live on YouTube, who had just a slower style, who's in a trade for anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour or longer, or they've got runners on and letting it be. Like, that'd be cool to watch that. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap up here. I'll probably just let it run as I look through some puts and maybe some adjusting of puts that I might be doing, but I won't have the screen pulled up. So anyone who's watching, hope you have a great rest of your day. Trade well, be safe, and I'll probably check back here once I'm done looking at puts just to see if anyone else is on, or say hey to some of my homies.
have a good weekend. We'll see you.